The Preferences area of your therapyappointment.com account is the focus of the Section 4. I highly encourage you to become familiar with the information located within the Preferences area, as there are choices here which allow you to manage many of your settings in our system. The Preferences area has several functions. It is a database of your therapist or group information, which is used for claim submission and super bills and flex bills. It manages the credit card that therapyappointment.com uses for automated billing of your account fees every month. It's used for adding additional practitioners to your account, managing settings from many areas of your account, including charting, autopilot, and clients' ability to schedule online. And finally, it is useful for managing the CPT codes that are billed. If you are an administrator, you will be able to view the therapist-listed CPT codes and charges by clicking on their Preferences button. However, you will not be able to change the CPT codes or any information in this Preferences area for the therapist. The therapist must log in and do this themselves, or allow you to have their username and password in order to go into their account and change the information. The Preferences area may look familiar to you, as it is the information that we required of you during the setup of your account. Please review all the information you initially entered for accuracy, as the system draws your information from many of the fields in the Preferences area in order to fill out the electronic and paper HCFA forms that are used for billing insurance. I start and finish this section with a warning. Any change you make in the Preference area must be saved. The Save button is at the bottom of the Preferences section, so be sure and scroll down to click on the button. You will get a message that your preferences have been updated. We will review the Preferences area from top to bottom. If you are an individual therapist, or if you are the main account holder in a group practice, at the top of your Preferences area you will find information necessary for changing the credit card used for billing your account, adding additional therapists to your group, and for requesting administrative and supervisory accounts. Administrative accounts are absolutely necessary for a group practice to use, or for any therapist who desires to be HIPAA compliant while allowing staff or colleagues to assist with client scheduling or billing. I recommend having one admin account for each computer at your front or back desk, plus one for any person working off-site. Be aware that admin accounts are not allowed to view chart notes or psychotherapy notes written on clients. The next section contains information about you and your practice, which is necessary for billing insurance, printing of client statements and flex bills, and reminder calls. Make sure your name is entered with first name first and last name last. In the second box, please make sure your name is entered the way you would like it to be announced in your reminder phone calls, text messages, and emails to your clients. So you may want this to read Dr. Susan Doe or just Susan Doe, whatever sounds right or professional to you. Next is the physical location of your practice. According to law, this cannot be a P.O. box and must contain your 9-digit zip code in order to be reimbursed by insurance. For those of you who have a P.O. box set up to receive insurance reimbursement checks, you may use that address only if it's registered with Office Ally. Please refer to our knowledge base of articles for further information on registering a P.O. box with Office Ally in order to maintain HIPAA compliance with billing. In the next area, please list your personal email address. Patient changes to their schedules can be forwarded to the address you list in this area, so ensure that it is an email address you check often. Also, please list your website address in the next box. If you do not have your own website but wish for clients to schedule with you online, you can direct clients to find you at therapyappointment.com. Appointment site note area and additional biographical information are relevant only if you are allowing clients to schedule online and will be covered in a separate video. In the next area, please ensure that your proprietary numbers for insurance billing are all correct. It pays to double-check this area for accuracy. Next is the area that allows you to enter the information for groups billing under a group NPI number. If you only bill as an individual practitioner, please leave this area blank. In case you have offices at more than one location, therapyappointment.com offers you the ability to list up to 5 locations for your office. Use this area only if you have these locations set up and accredited with insurance companies. For example, maybe you see clients in your counseling office, but you also have a contract to see Medicare clients at an assisted living facility. List your private practice address as location number 1 and the assisted living facility in location number 2, along with all the information required. Just a note, if you only have one office location, all of these locations should be left blank. We'll pull the location at the top of this page in to be used for billing insurance. Now we come to a list of yes and no buttons. At the top of this list, you are cued to choose a chart note default style of a simple note, HIPAA style note, or none. Be aware that either default choice will still allow you to access any charting style when charting on a client, but choosing none will actually turn off your charting function. This can be handy for those of you who are not yet ready to move to electronic charting or who want to wait until a later date to learn it. If you turn notes off, please remember to utilize your charting in a form you are currently using, such as in a paper file. You can turn the chart function off and on at any time. If chart notes are turned off, you can still file insurance. You will be cued to fill in the CPT codes and amount the client paid for today's session. Next, indicate the type of diagnosis codes you would prefer to use for billing insurance companies. Codes in the DSM-4 or ICD-9 codes. Please note that the codes will be updated when DSM-5 is released and the ICD-10 codes go into effect. For the typical therapist, it is recommended that you use DSM codes for billing. If you are a psychiatrist or nurse practitioner, you will need to use ICD codes for billing. The next 4 yes/no questions have to do with allowing clients to use your online scheduling features, and we will cover those in a separate video entitled Setting Up Your System for Clients to Self-Schedule. So let's go further down this list. The sound chime at the start and end of sessions has to do with our autopilot feature. When you are using the autopilot feature, you can have our system give a nice chime to notify you of the end of an appointment. The next 2 choices are very important if you have an administrative account or supervisor account in your system. As a therapist, you have to allow admin to view your screen or supervisors to access your account. Administrators will not be able to see any confidential case notes. However, supervisors will have access to the confidential files in your system. And this function is often required if you are a therapy intern being supervised by another therapist, or if you work in a group practice setting where the charts are audited and overseen by others in your group. If you are an admin and cannot see one of your therapists from your admin accounts, please have them log in and switch this area to yes. Last but not least in this section of the preferences is the ability for our system to send out birthday greetings to your clients via email if you choose. At this time, the greeting is not able to be customized, but we're sure you'll find it an appropriate greeting for any client you might have on your caseload. We're going to go to the next section of preferences, and this is information that is going to manage your autopilot functions, timestamps for chart notes, and some billing preferences. Let's quickly review these now. Sessions usually last for, put in your most typical session length. If you at times schedule sessions longer or shorter than typical, you will have an opportunity to adjust the session length when you chart on your clients. Next is the most typical time between one session start and another. For example, if you schedule a client every 60 minutes, put in 60. If you schedule a client every 45 minutes, put in 45. This will allow our auto chime function to work as indicated. Now let's look at the next 5 fields. Appointment reminders. Designate how many days in advance your reminders are sent out. Reminders go out around 9 or 10 a.m. in the morning. So if you have reminders set up to go out 1 day in advance, your client will have received their reminder this morning for tomorrow's appointment. The next area has to do with therapyappointment.com catching insurance claims that have not been paid in a timely manner. 45 days is typically sufficient time for reimbursement to take place from insurance companies if you're sending out paper claims. However, you can adjust this area to the number of days you prefer. An important area if you have administrative accounts and you are in a group practice, one of your administrators can get the alerts about new patients who sign up online, certifications that are expiring, and clients who late cancel or schedule. These alerts will show up in the administrator's messages area in the lower left-hand corner of their screen, as well as show up in a therapist account. The last two items to review in this section of your preferences screen are setting your time zone, which is important for your autopilot function and past appointments to work correctly. And finally, the type of HCFA form printing you will be queuing therapyappointment.com to use for you. If you send billing to insurance via a mailed-in HCFA form instead of electronically, we suggest you set this to red form so that you can feed the red forms into your own printer. When you print a red form for the first time on a printer, you will need to adjust the settings to make the alignment correct. The choices in this list all assist you in making sure the printing aligns correctly, and you will be queued by therapyappointment.com to come to this area to make adjustments if you notice the spacing is off when printing on red HCFA forms. If you do not typically bill with HCFA forms, you may want to leave this set to black and white. This will print the boxes on the HCFA form as well as your information if you ever do need to print a form, and it's sometimes handy to look at a pre-printed HCFA for a client as a reference. Finally, let's look at your CPT code and therapist information database. The CPT code database is located at the very bottom of the Preferences page. CPT codes are procedure codes used by insurance companies. You will notice that there are a few typical procedure codes that therapists use already included in the database. The newest procedure codes for psychotherapy, which went into effect on January 1st, 2013, are listed at the top of the area, and the extinct CPT codes are noted in the bottom of the list, as you may have cause to use these for billing services that took place prior to January 1st. If you have, however, unlimited room to add additional CPT codes that you may need for billing insurance, or CPT codes for services not billable to insurance, only codes that begin with the numeral 9 will be recognized by therapyappointment.com as billable to insurance. Insurance will never be charged for codes that do not start with a 9. However, the patient's account will be charged for them. This gives you great leeway in therapyappointment.com to set up your own codes for non-reimbursable services such as coaching, phone therapy, missed sessions, or late cancellations. If you are allowed by an insurance company to bill a procedure code that starts with a different numeral, such as an 8, contact technical support via our Help button. We can set your system to recognize those codes as billable to insurance if that is ever needed. Please list your usual and customary fees for these CPT codes, even though you may have a different contracted rate with each insurance company. Insurance will only pay you your contracted rate regardless of what you bill. Once in a great while, insurance companies actually increase the rate they pay you, but they will not pay you more than you actually billed for the date of service. And it's typical in the healthcare realm for an adjustment to be made to your contracted rate on the posting line for the date of service when you receive payment from the patient's insurance company. Our system takes care of that automatically if you're using our AutoPosting function. After you make any changes to the Preferences area, including CPT codes, make sure and scroll to the bottom of the page and save your changes. This will also cause you to exit from the Preferences area. Thank you for watching this video on setting up your preferences. The final video of Getting Started is a look at the overall process now that you have your databases and preferences set up correctly.